Have you ever walked into a room and felt exhausted before anyone even spoke? That's not intuition. That might be a childhood survival strategy, still running in the background of your brain. Have you ever walked into a room and felt tired before anyone even spoke? That's not random intuition, and it's not a personality trait. Here's the direct answer. For many people, what they call empathy is actually hypervigilance shaped in childhood. If you grew up in an unpredictable emotional environment, your brain didn't develop empathy as a soft skill. It developed it as an early warning system. Your nervous system learned to scan tone shifts, facial tension, silence, body language, not because it was interesting, because it was necessary. And that wiring doesn't disappear when you become an adult. So in this video, we're going to walk through the 3 stages almost every trauma-born empath experiences: the overwhelm phase, the withdrawal phase, and the loneliness of clarity that very few people talk about. If any of this feels familiar, this might explain more about your life than you expect. Stage 1. The overwhelm phase. Stage 1 is what I call the overwhelm phase. This is where your empathy feels like a superpower, but secretly drains you. You walk into a meeting and immediately sense tension between 2 co-workers. No one says anything, but you feel it. Your body tightens, you adjust your tone, you soften your words. Or maybe you meet a friend for coffee, and before they even start talking, you already feel the weight of their bad day. You leave that conversation tired, even though you barely spoke. But here's what most people don't realize. Your brain is not just being intuitive. It's running background threat detection software. It tracks micro expressions, vocal shifts, subtle changes in posture. All of this happens automatically. The nervous system often confuses familiarity with safety. If chaos was normal in childhood, your body may still scan for it, even in calm environments. And over time, this constant scanning builds pressure, and pressure always demands release. Stage 2, the withdrawal phase. Stage 2 is the part that confuses everyone around you. At some point, your system hits a wall. You start canceling plans. You ignore messages. You need entire weekends alone just to feel normal again. People assume you're becoming distant or antisocial. But you are not rejecting connection. You are protecting your nervous system. When the brain processes emotional data non-stop, it builds cognitive load. Your prefrontal cortex never truly rests, so the body steps in and forces a shutdown. Not dramatically, quietly. You might notice it after a family gathering, or after being the strong one for months. You go home, close the door, and feel relief in the silence. And this is where most trauma-born empaths start to panic, because withdrawal feels like failure. It feels like you are losing your identity. Often, your nervous system chooses solitude before your conscious mind understands why. The body makes the decision first, the story comes later, and in this silence, something begins to shift. Stage 3, the loneliness of clarity. Stage 3 is quieter, and in many ways harder, after the overwhelm, after the withdrawal. Something sharp begins to emerge. Clarity. You start noticing patterns you used to ignore. The way someone says, "I'm fine," while their jaw tightens. The friend who only calls when they need support. The subtle emotional games that keep certain relationships running. You cannot unsee it, and here's the part no one prepares you for. Clarity can feel lonelier than chaos, because once you see the gap between words and intentions, small talk feels heavy. Surface connections feel draining. Your circle begins to shrink, not because you dislike people, but because you no longer want unconscious dynamics. Some relationships shift dramatically when you stop regulating everyone's emotions. Others quietly fall away. This stage can make you question yourself. Am I becoming cold? Am I too distant? But what is actually happening is integration. You are no longer merging automatically. You are separating perception from absorption. And very few people stay long enough in this stage to complete the transformation. Integration, sovereign empathy. If you stay with the process, something different begins to form. Not numbness, not detachment, but sovereignty. Sovereign empathy means you can read a room without carrying it. You can notice someone's sadness without absorbing it into your body. You can care without collapsing. This is the shift from unconscious empathy to conscious empathy. Before, your sensitivity ran automatically. It reacted. It merged. It overextended. Now it becomes a choice. You pause before offering support. You ask yourself, is this mine to hold? You allow silence without rushing to fix it. And this is where everything changes. Because once empathy becomes intentional, it stops draining you. Sensitivity without boundaries leads to self-abandonment. Sensitivity with boundaries creates stability. You still feel deeply, but you no longer lose yourself in the process. And from this place, connection becomes cleaner, lighter, mutual. You are not scanning for danger anymore. You are simply present. If you recognize yourself in this journey, you are not broken. You adapted. Stage 1 was survival. Your nervous system learned to scan because it had to. Stage 2 was protection. Withdrawal was your body asking for space. Stage 3 was clarity. You began seeing patterns without merging into them. And if you are moving towards sovereign empathy, that is not coldness. It is maturity. It is regulation. It is choice. The goal was never to become less sensitive. The goal was to stop being controlled by your sensitivity. Empathy rooted in survival feels exhausting. Empathy rooted in sovereignty feels steady. And steady is powerful. So here's what I'm curious about. Which stage are you in right now? Are you still in the overwhelm phase, absorbing everything around you? Are you in withdrawal, needing more silence than people understand? Or are you entering that clarity stage where you see more than you used to? Leave a comment and tell me. Not for performance, just for honesty. If this video resonated, subscribe. This channel is for people rebuilding their nervous systems in a loud world. We talk about trauma patterns, emotional boundaries, and the subtle shifts that change everything. And in the next video, we're going deeper into something connected to this. Why calm can actually make you anxious. Because for many trauma-born empaths, safety feels unfamiliar. You're not alone in this process. And you're not too sensitive. You're learning how to be powerful without being overwhelmed.